So I'm talking about building a self-sustained social enterprise. My name is Olamide. I run a company called Pearl Recycling. A bit of my background, I'm not sure if that was said before the presentation. So my background is in engineering. I did computer engineering in school. I worked for 8 years as a network infrastructure engineer and then a technical sales before starting Pearl Recycling. And why did I start Pearl Recycling? So I started Pearl Recycling because in 2012 I had a trip to Dubai and then I bought some products. Then I realized they were made from waste. I was actually pissed because they were quite expensive, but eventually I felt like we have a lot of waste in Nigeria that can be turned around, and that was how we started Pearl Recycling. So yes, along the line, we've actually modified our business model because the title that I'm talking about is building a self-sustained social enterprise. And with the situation of things around, we noticed that most social enterprise are actually built around being a not-for-profit in a way that they are not generating revenue. And the way it works with most organizations is the fact that the culture of the organization actually reflects about the culture of the founder. So I'm this kind of person that I do not really feel I need to beg people for fund. I need to beg people for money. So the first thing we need to do is how do we generate revenue, personally before looking for fund. And that was how we scaled our business model and then keep transitioning till we got to this point. So now the problem we do basically is the fact that in Nigeria currently, we have 89 million people who are unemployed. Now, the problem is not that they are unemployed. The problem is a lot of them are unemployable due to lack of education and skills, right? So some people are not educated, some people don't have skills. And, on the other hand, we generate more than 40 million metric tons of waste annually. So the question now is, how do we make waste available to people who are unemployed so that they can generate revenue? And that's the model. That's how we work at Pearl Recycling. So what we do is we use this waste and then we recycle them, we upcycle them into sustainable, eco-friendly products. And we also train people on vocational skills, especially the disenfranchised and underserved people. So we feel that because waste is available and a lot of people are unemployed. So if they have the skills to convert this waste that is available in their communities to wealth, they can do better. So how having been able to do so since we started, we had a lot of problem, of course. Part of it was a mindset limitation, the fact that people believe waste is waste. Once I'm done with something, I'm going to throw it away. What other thing am I supposed to do with it? Another thing is the fact that there's poverty. So if you're going to teach people about waste or recycling or upcycling in a place where they're trying to survive, they're trying to feed, you need to look for ways to make it enticing for them, right? And for most of us in this field, especially the creative upcycling field, there's lack of fund. Capital is a big problem. Another thing that is also a big problem is the fact that we have limitation of industry experts in this field and zero visibility. So what we've been able to do and how we feel this can also transition to people who are either in this field or planning to go into this field was the fact that we started by telling people about what we do and we show them this. So we tell them by showing them, it is possible, or is kind of hard for you to tell people that when you're done with your plastic waste, keep it, we want to take it. If they don't see what they turn it to, they might not really feel so interested to continue picking those plastic waste. But in our case, they see what we do, and then a lot of people are wild with it, and they say, oh, okay, we love this thing you do. Can we also make it? And then the best thing we've done so far was the fact that we created income, any opportunity for people, especially the unemployed, the vulnerable people. So what we do is we partner with organizations. Before I move to that part, let me talk about our business model a bit. So at first, we were doing B2C. We were doing business to consumer in the sense that we make products and then we sell it to the last mile consumer. And that was taking a whole lot of times for us to generate the kind of revenue we need to run the company. So we changed our business model to be 80% of B2B. So we deal directly with businesses. and then 20% of B2C. This way, you've been able to generate enough revenue to keep running and, you know, to stay sustainable. And how did we do this? So we changed our product. The first thing you need to understand if you are playing in the social enterprise field is the fact that people buy your story before they buy your product, right? They want to understand the story behind it before they even see the product. They buy the story. Another thing is the fact that people really don't buy products; they buy solutions. So if you're selling a pen and you are saying, okay, come and buy a pen because I'm buying a pen, it's different from saying, oh, you will need to write something. Do you need to write something and you need a pen? Now, you kind of configure their brain to know that, okay, I need to write something and I don't have a pen in my bag, so I will definitely need this pen from you. So this is what I've been able to do. So we look at the problems and then we created solutions around that problem. Okay, for example, we know that most people with autistic children have a problem with making these children to sit well. You know, you have a lot of problem with them sitting well, especially when they are babies. So we created a furniture made from tires that will make them sit well, and you can even strap them. Now, this is more like emotional buying, because if you see a mother who has an autistic child and has gone through a lot trying to keep this child in one place, you know they need this thing definitely. We also created solutions for people who are low income earners, right? So we understand that a lot of people want to live good, especially the fact that a lot of people are in the urban area, they want to live good, but they do not have this money. They do not have the money to buy a furniture of 500,000 because they're just coming up, they're just starting. So we created the same luxury, but at half the price. So people understand that, okay, I need this thing. Maybe when I get enough money to change my furniture, I can move on to something bigger. But this is also cool for my space. This is something I can buy at this point in time. So now this is us trying to understand the problem and then trying to create a solution around the problem, not just pushing the product out and then waiting for people to buy the product, which is, I think, a lot of problem. One of the problems that most social entrepreneurs, you know, make in this climb. Another thing we did was we created a consultancy arm. So first, we changed our business model to work with businesses. So now we give them green consultancy solution in the sense that we talk to them about how to reuse their waste, how to turn their waste to something good. And we also create green parks, green engagement area, green spaces. And it was easy for these people to talk to us. So like I said, we changed our model to 80% of B2B, 20% of B2C. This way, you know, it helped us to quickly make the revenue and also still attend to our last mile consumers. And I think lastly, the thing we do is the fact that we teach people the skills. We understand that kind of work we do, it's very hard for us to replicate it, you know, keep doubling ourselves in most of these cities. So when we train people, we send them back to where they are. They go back to their communities to replicate the solution, to do the same thing. Of course, we understand that most times people can't pay for the training, you know, and then we work with organizations who have maybe a CSR project they want to do. And because that is not the core business they do, they need a social enterprise to handle the CSR. So they bring us in to train these people as part of their impact project and all that. So of course, that's how we've been able to be self-sustained, to create revenue. And how we've been able to do that is the fact that we first, like I said, we first change our model. When you talk about business model or business model canvas, it's not a one-way thing. It's something you need to go back to often and often to change, to remodel. As much as you're thinking of, okay, this is how I want my company to be, you go back to it, you change it. Another thing is your business plan, your pitch shouldn't be just one. You have, you know, you should be able to go back to it maybe periodically to change it to fit, of course, to the environment that is changing, to technology that is changing, to even the problems. So you can't just build one and then leave it over the years and say, this is what we do. No. Another thing is we make sure that our vision aligns from time to time. And then we do periodic evaluation. So over time, we come back and say, what impact have we made? How many people have been impacted? What have we done? What can we do better? Because if you don't evaluate, you really don't know where you are weak and where you're strong and where you need to create balance, right? And And of course, to be a social enterprise that's sustainable, especially in this climate, you need to try as much as possible to reduce your operational cost as much as possible. Like if you don't need to employ an HR person, do not employ an HR person. Outsource as much as possible. Outsource as much as possible. Use free tools as much as possible. Like you really don't need to go and pay for a Google, like a meeting room or wherever. You can use free Google Meet. You can just try and work with free tools as much as possible. And of course, you need social media. You need to leverage on social media. You need it to gain visibility. And you need to also create a different channel for distributions and sales. For us, we've looked at creating micro franchise, where we have other people selling what we do. We've worked with different models. Like I said, we keep changing, and you know what works from that, what doesn't work. And of course, that's what we've been able to do. So thank you so very much. I think I'll be able to keep to the 10 minutes. If there's question, I'm here to answer. Thank you.